In times of uncertainty, when the world seems engulfed in darkness and chaos, the Virgin Mary offers humanity a guiding light, a beacon of unwavering love and protection. Her message, particularly from Medjugorje, provides a spiritual lifeline, drawing us back to the foundational principles of faith, hope, and love. This message is not one of fear, but a loving call to re-examine our lives and the state of the world. It beckons us to turn inward, to open our hearts to God, and to look beyond the material distractions that often cloud our vision. In her most recent message, the Virgin Mary implores us to unite in prayer and to place our trust in God's protection. She prays for the strength of Pope Francis and the unity of the Church as a whole, emphasizing the importance of standing together in faith. It is a reminder that, even in times of turmoil, the Church must remain a source of spiritual support, and believers must rally around their spiritual leaders, offering prayers of strength and divine guidance for all who serve in the faith. The message also addresses the concerning erosion of innocence in society, pointing to the pervasive spread of immorality, and the growing divide between humans and the divine. In this age, where worldly temptations and distractions are abundant, the Virgin Mary calls us to battle these moral crises through the power of prayer, unity, and shared love. She reminds us that the foundation of true strength lies in coming together as a community of faith, leveraging the transformative power of collective prayer to overcome the forces of evil. At the core of her message, Mary highlights the importance of the Eucharist, prayer, and especially the Rosary as essential tools in our spiritual defense. These sacred practices are not mere rituals, they are powerful acts of faith that protect and guide us through times of hardship. The Rosary, in particular, is presented as a shield, offering divine protection against the trials of life. Each prayer recited draws us closer to the divine, offering us strength and resilience as we face the storms of the world. The message from the Virgin Mary calls for reflection and deliberate action. It challenges us to examine our lives, to take stock of our deeds, and to actively work towards upholding the core values of our faith, values rooted in love, compassion, and unwavering belief in God's providence. Through prayer, unity, and a commitment to the sacred practices of our faith, we can weather the trials that lie ahead, fortified by the love and protection of the Virgin Mary and the divine guidance of God. This is not just a call to prepare for future challenges. It is an invitation to transform our hearts and lives today, so that we may stand strong in faith and face whatever comes with courage and hope. Compassion and love are the foundations upon which the Virgin Mary calls us to build our lives. Her message urges us to live out our religion authentically, not merely as a set of rituals or doctrines, but as a radiant expression of Christ's love in a world that is desperately in need of both. It is a call to be beacons of hope, to embody the mercy and kindness that God extends to us, and to offer that same love to those around us. The Virgin Mary, in her maternal care for humanity, also shares a prophetic warning with us. She forewarns of earthquakes, widespread diseases, and global conflicts, events that may seem terrifying at first glance. But these warnings are not meant to frighten us. Rather, they are calls to spiritual preparedness. They urge us to trust in God's protection, to place our faith in Him, and to remember the fragility of the world we live in. Through these trials, we are reminded that only God is our true defender and guide. While the world may seem unpredictable and unsafe, He remains our steadfast protector, offering His divine shelter in times of peril. The core of the Virgin Mary's message touches on three critical issues facing humanity today: the rampant spread of lust, the corruption of innocence, and the decline in religious vocations. These concerns are not isolated, they are deeply interconnected. Lust, in its many forms, undermines the dignity of the human person, erodes relationships, and distorts the sacredness of love. The perversion of innocence, especially among the younger generation, creates a world in which purity is replaced by exploitation. And the loss of religious vocations signals a deeper spiritual crisis, an erosion of commitment to God's calling. In response to these challenges, the Virgin Mary emphasizes the importance of prayer and unwavering faith. Through prayer, we draw near to God, seeking His strength and guidance. It is our connection to the divine that shields us from the growing darkness in the world. Mary assures us that prayer is not just a comfort, but a powerful force capable of transforming hearts and healing wounds. It is through prayer that we can unite as a global family, standing firm in our belief that God's light will ultimately triumph over all darkness. Mary also speaks of a time of divine purification, a moment when God's righteous anger will cleanse the earth and cast evil into the abyss. This period, though difficult, will serve as a purging force, ridding the world of its corruption and preparing the way for a new beginning. As unsettling as this may sound, it is also a message of hope. Just as in the story of Fatima, where Our Lady foretold the triumph of her Immaculate Heart, we are assured that divine light will overcome the deepest shadows. Mary's predictions provide a firm foundation for our faith. No matter how dark the times may seem, the light of Christ will always prevail. This is not merely a challenge for the Church, but for all of humanity. The assault on morality, sanctity, and the sacred order of creation requires our attention, prayer, and collective action. We are all called to be vigilant, to stand firm in our faith, and to work together to protect innocence, preserve the sanctity of life, and respond to God's call to holiness. These are not isolated issues, but are deeply intertwined. They demand a unified, committed response from all of us, working together to counteract the forces of evil that threaten to engulf our world. By fostering a spirit of unity and prayer, we can be part of God's plan for healing and restoration. We must come together, not only in our personal devotion but in community, to safeguard the purity of the innocent, to nurture religious vocations, and to ensure that the sacredness of marriage and human dignity are upheld. Our collective prayers, our acts of charity, and our commitment to living out the gospel will serve as the spiritual armor we need to protect against the onslaught of moral decay. May God's love continue to be our strength and guide us through the challenges ahead. As we face these trials, let us hold fast to the assurance that Mary, Our Lady of Fatima, and the heavenly hosts are with us. Through our faith we will find our stronghold, and through God's divine light, darkness will never prevail. This message is a call to action, to courage, and to unwavering faith. Let these words sink deeply into your hearts, inspiring you to confront the challenges of the future with resolve and hope. We are not alone in this journey. God's love and Mary's intercession walk with us every step of the way. Together, let us rise as a united people of faith, standing firm in prayer and love, and trusting in the victory of divine light over darkness. May these prophetic warnings serve not to frighten us, but to remind us of the power of prayer, the strength of unity, and the ultimate triumph of God's love. In our ongoing spiritual battle, there is no greater weapon than prayer. The Rosary, the priesthood, and the Eucharist are our steadfast anchors in these turbulent times, offering us both the strength and guidance needed to navigate the challenges of the world. These sacred pillars, prayer, the sacred priesthood, and the Holy Eucharist, are not just traditions or rituals. They are powerful tools that connect us to the divine and provide protection against the forces that seek to separate us from God. The Rosary, as we know, is a spiritual weapon of immense power. The Virgin Mary has consistently emphasized its potency in the battle against evil. Each bead is a step closer to God, each prayer a shield against the darkness that surrounds us. Through the Rosary, we not only honor the Virgin Mary but also draw closer to the heart of Christ, allowing His love and grace to flow through us. It is a prayer that can transform hearts and minds, a prayer that unites us with the heavenly realm. Likewise, the priesthood is the great gift that Christ bestowed upon His Church, providing the channels through which we receive His grace. The priests, acting in the person of Christ, offer us the sacraments, most notably the Eucharist. In the Eucharist, we encounter the living Christ, receiving His body and blood as spiritual nourishment for our souls. This sacred sacrament is a source of immeasurable strength and a constant reminder that God is with us, sustaining us through every trial we face. The Virgin Mary also calls us to embrace penance as a shield of protection. Penance is not simply about seeking forgiveness for our sins, it is a powerful tool for purification. It cleanses our souls, restores our connection with God, and helps us grow in humility and sincerity. Penance requires a deep awareness of our need for God's mercy and a willingness to turn away from the distractions of the world that pull us further from His grace. It is a path to true transformation, enabling us to live in greater harmony with God's will. The message of the Virgin Mary encourages us not only to receive these gifts, but to share them with others. In the face of difficulty and uncertainty, we are reminded to hold firm to our faith and to offer the light of Christ to everyone we encounter. We are called to be vessels of hope, spreading the message of love, peace, and faith wherever we go. In times of fear, doubt, and suffering, it is our shared faith and prayer that bind us together, reminding us that we are not alone on this journey. Mary's message also underscores the importance of community. She asks us to remember that we are part of a larger family of Christians, all striving to live in accordance with God's divine direction. By offering our names for daily prayers, we build a spiritual solidarity that transcends individual struggles. We are united in faith, and in that unity, we draw strength and encouragement from one another. Together, we form a powerful network of prayer and support, a family of believers that can overcome any obstacle. As the message concludes, the Virgin Mary blesses all who have heard her call, praying that each of us will experience the fullness of God's grace and protection. She invites us to embrace our faith more fully, to rely on the strength of prayer, and to allow the divine light of Christ to guide us in every decision we make. In the midst of the trials of life, we are promised that God's protection and love will always be with us. This message is a ray of hope for each of us, a beacon of light in a world that often feels dark and uncertain. It is a reminder that we are not alone, that we have the tools we need: prayer, the Eucharist, the Rosary, and the priesthood to face any challenge. With these gifts, we can find our way to the light, overcome the difficulties of the world, and emerge stronger in our faith. Let us welcome this message with open hearts and arms, supporting one another in our faith journeys. May we all find peace and security in the divine love of the Virgin Mary, strengthen our prayers, and guidance in the teachings of Christ. Thank you for staying with us until the end of this video. We would love to hear your thoughts on today's subject. Don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications, and leave a comment below so you can be alerted when our next video is released. May God bless you abundantly.